Hello, and welcome back to our continuing Settlement Survival Easter Island Let's Play Series 2.0. I'm Larry, and it's episode 17. And I know there was a one-day gap between videos, but I had some fixing to do on this map. And the murderers were driving me absolutely crazy. And it turned out that literally all my murderers were coming from just a couple houses. I had, with how the police gap was, there were like 3 houses that were not covered. It was like 2 or 3 houses. And they were manufacturing all my murders. You know, the children turned into murderers. The adults that lived there turned into murderers, and it was absolutely crazy. Now, the one other thing I've also figured out is I no longer banish murderers. It is what it is, and I'm okay with it. Why lose 2 people? So yeah, you could take that advice or not. I mean, this is going to be mainly a how to survive video for this scenario. And now if you look at the graphs, look at my food. Notice how it doesn't dip. Well, if you're tied to crops, you're going to get this huge sine wave of your crop production. Always feast and famine, feast and famine. Well, since I'm basically fish and my animals now, look at this. I am not hurting what's so bad for food. Now, I'm right in the middle of a huge population surge. I mean, look at these numbers. I have 204 kids. I mean, I regret this bar going into the green. I managed to get it to the green, and breeding went into hyperdrive. I mean, it's horrible. And I have enough school capacity for like 210 kids, I think it is. I think 6 or 7 of these things built. And yeah, and I still need to expand them. So I have not been doing any of the luxury furniture, because that's another thing that I've learned on this map. The things that you absolutely have to control or you're in trouble is your lumber. Now, if you notice, from the very beginning of this playthrough, I did one of my tricks, and I've had my 4 for this hut right here, felling and planting trees, and this one right here is just planting only. I could add a 4th person in here, but I'm getting more than enough tree coverage that I really don't need it. And I just put these things down. I mean, as you can see, with how the coverage is, I just put these down, so they're going to fill in this area, because while I've been off camera, I have not touched the statues, because I wanted the viewers, you, to be able to see it. So yeah, I have plenty of vines or rope. I do believe I'm sitting like at around 3,000, I think. Let's look here. Yeah, 3,700 rope. So we have enough rope to do what we're doing. We're at around 3,000 lumber. Now, going back to lumber, you want to do everything possible to not use lumber. Now, you can't avoid it when you're building regular houses. So we'll get into that in a few, but this is a huge consumer of your lumber. So that's hard to balance. But once you get into the luxury houses here, it does not cost lumber to build. So you'd be real smart to try to get this researched I wouldn't make it a priority. Your food is the priority, because it tells you right off the bat when we start the scenario that food and water are, we had a 2-year supply. Well, I don't think anybody really understands how far behind the 8 ball they really are when it comes to your crops. Now, if you notice, these are the only crops I have down. That's it. The only thing I'm making right now is agave. I'm growing agave, and I'm growing oats. And I went ahead and, because I've been playing with the distilleries, the distilleries. And it is critical to reinforce them. So if you get a storm, a tornado or sandstorm, they don't get destroyed. But then putting in the efficiency help big time. Look where my spirits are, 1,930, and look at my population. So the next upgrade that I have is going to be adding another person to each one of these distilleries. Now, one of the tricks to making sure the distilleries are always operating, it's critical that you get enough agave in surplus. And right now, I'm close to a 14,000 surplus on my agave. And the only reason why I'm on a surplus there is my fertile fields. Now, I can take this field out right here, and since I have so much that I can turn it into housing or something else, but I don't know yet. But then, of course, having your compost for your fertilizer is huge. And look how low I've been able to keep my animal dung. So what I can do right now is I can just add more people to this. And as you can see, I'm not hurting on laborers. This number was up to like 90. But yeah, it's been a crazy ride. Now, so you have your spirits as a limiting factor. So I resolved that. And then I resolved my food issue strictly just by the fish ponds. The fish ponds are a godsend because nothing really affects them. Droughts don't affect them. And if you put the reinforcements in, you don't lose them in a tornado or a sandstorm. So that is something you really want to focus in on. So you want to focus in on getting your distilleries fixed, get them up and running the best that you can. At the very beginning, since you have so many laborers, get down as much fields as you can and grow between the pumpkin and the peas. The one thing I notice is the pumpkins, since they harvest so quickly, you get that extra shot of food to keep the meat sickles down. Because until you're overproducing on your crops, you have the pumpkins that will give you the initial boost. So if there are any meat sickle pops running around, this food is available to them quickly. And then you have your pea production, and you want to make sure that's amped up because you want your pea production to get you through the winter time. So until you're actually storing enough food to get you through for a year, you should really be concentrating on adding your pumpkin and your pea production along with your agave. And then once you can get into fertile fields are awesome. Oh, I forgot. I also have some fields over here. I have not converted these things to fertile fields yet. These are still standards. But I went ahead and got my fertilizer started. So that is big time. Oh, what other fun things? So if you want to keep your murders down, your police stations, you cannot have any gaps in coverage. Just The way I've started building things is I make sure that I have medical, I have heating, I have the bath and the marketplace before I start building into another area. And if I don't have the coverage, I don't build in it. So that's something you want to concentrate on as well. Now, to make all this work comes down to having enough research points. And I still have the same number of researchers, but I went ahead and upgraded these things as soon as I could. But before that, I was making paper. I am using all my reads that I have started into paper production, because even just with regular research facility, they can use paper. And if you want to really amp those up, use paper. I mean, look at these advanced units. I mean, this one 38,000 last year. This one did 36,000. Now, look at what I have researched. Livability 100%. I didn't waste this one because I don't even know if we're going to get fairies. So maybe we will, maybe we won't. So this one I held back on. I've done very little in trade. So if the ones that I work on next will be carving and jewelry, I'm not going to worry about these two yet because we don't have a fairy. We don't have access to a fairy. Now with mining, I went ahead and I just picked up jade, and the reason why I picked up jade is I might as well put in jade roads and have the fastest road available. So I'm getting ready to put some jade buildings down. Construction-wise, I've held off on the rebuild because it's like, I don't mind individually clicking buildings to have them rebuilt. So this is more of a convenience to me, so I could hold off on it. And I have not done anything with the brick roads. I already have the animals that I can get. So I didn't see the point in spending a point on trapping. Now, the one bad thing is there's no geese or duck on this map. So it gets bad. Here in agriculture, I have not put any points in fishing here, and I'm going to, but I don't know where I'm going to be able to place these. Now, I did learn something is the salt building. When I activated salt, it can go into areas where I could not place the fishing dock, or I couldn't place the reservoir or the sand pit. So that was weird. So I have a feeling that when I unlock this is going to unlock more areas in the coast where a fishing dock can go. So that's something to think about. Now, just so you know, the corrals are important. They do not improve your meat production, but I tell you what, getting that extra leather and fur is nice. You're going to need it. Now, in processing, I've been messing around with this. These were the last ones, these 4, I really didn't care about because I haven't done anything with them. Now, I can do my salted fish and all that other fun stuff, but since I don't have access to the market to get butter, a lot of this stuff becomes irrelevant because without butter, a lot of the recipes are, they're no good. So, same thing with the cans. To me, it was no big deal. I picked up the salt just so I could pick up candy because I'm like, I'll get into that in a sec. But then logistics, I don't have access to cotton, so making backpacks is kind of irrelevant. And with the hand carts, okay, so now, I can do timber and steel, but I don't want to use my timber to make a cart. So I've been surviving with just the packet expansion. I'm not making baskets. So It's up to you. You could say, Larry, you're making a big mistake, but I can tell you right now, look at my numbers. I mean, things are fine. So getting your points as fast as you can makes a huge difference. And then just fill in this infrastructure afterwards. Now, I just started making herb soap because, my herbs are going crazy again, so life is good. Now, if you recall, I had all my animals up here. Now, I moved my animals, and you should also, this tip goes for even regular maps. When you get your first tornado or you get your first sandstorm, see where it tracks. And it follows a corridor from here to here, and it kind of for this map, it pathed up diagonally. So all the animals that I had right here, well, actually from here to here, I had issues for the animals. So since I've gone through 2 or 3 of those storms now, it's just you know what? I'm not going to risk my animals anymore. So I moved my animal production all over here. So could that be wrong? Could the storms change? Absolutely. Now, since we don't have access to cotton, you get severely limited on what you can do. Now, I wanted to get my hospitals in, so I spent points to go into there. Well, in order to build a hospital, let me show you here. Look at what it takes. Oop. Wrong button. Right here. It takes the bedding set. Well, the bedding set needs wool or feathers. And I don't have sheep, because I don't have access to buy sheep, and I don't have access to buy the cotton seed. So having hospitals, unless you get one of the administrators and you get lucky and they give you a cotton seed, there's not much. Now, so far on this map, I've picked up soybean and wheat were the 2 that I've picked up so far from the administrators. And I picked up my cattle from the administrator. So, yeah, that's luck of the draw there on how your map's going to go. And so that's food for thought that you may want to be considering, because there are things that I cannot do on this map. Like right now, I cannot. The only way I can do luxury clothing, let me pull this up, is my only 2 choices that I have. Let me show this to you. Right now for my down jackets, I can either use leather or alpaca, or I can use linen and alpaca for my down jackets. Now, if you go over to luxury, okay, refined leather and feathers, no feathers. Seal fur and feathers, no feathers. So, I don't have wool. My only option into getting the luxurious coats is my alpaca and my refined leather. So, future reference, make sure you start to get your buffalo up and going as fast as you can. Now, I got lucky and I have cattle, so that's also going to produce me leather. But if I didn't have cattle right now, all of these things right here would be buffalo. And I brought the turkey production on because they're quick poop and meat machines. So these are really great to have, because look how much turkey that one produced last year. I just opened this one up, so this hasn't done anything. and this one right here did 941. Now, if you notice, I don't have fodder. Well, I can't have fodder because I don't have access to corn. So that has been horrible. I just opened these two up, so now I'm going to have more moo cows. But all of these, this one was my last one that I opened, and the rest of these are now producing. And I don't really care about their meat. Only thing I care about is their leather. And, this one, since I've been robbing these to get these ones going, these ones haven't been at full production. So I kind of hurt my leather there, but I needed to get these ones staffed up so I could increase my leather production. So that is a huge play on this map. Now, staying in the yellow is what I should have done. Getting this up to green, I tried playing it like a normal map because, we want this into the yellow bar like the health. Well, once this is in the green, sure, everybody's happier, but now I have a huge population thing that I have to go through. So I have to add more food production, which is I'm going to be adding more fish. But now I've had to go on a big housing boom because this number right here was up to 36. So right now I'm trying to get this housing built. Now, when it comes to housing, just so you know, the tents don't matter. Don't go, when you first start the map and you're like, oh, I have to replace the tents. Don't. Only big deal about the tent is you're not getting the happiness bonus. You can offset the happiness bonus with your police coverage. So, this whole big area that was full of tents and all that, don't worry about it. Just start building housing, and when you get ahead on your housing, then slowly tick off your tents. But try to keep your housing built around your production area. Have your housing intermingled with your production. Just like how I've done it over here. I have enough housing for them to live right next to all of this. Same thing with right here. I've tried to keep all my housing together. Now, I have this production area for mines. Well, could I have put all my housing right here in front of the mines to make them faster? I absolutely could have. But I was kind of in panic mode trying to get some stuff built. So I built this area right here, and I regret doing it. It would be nice to have put the housing in here. And to be honest with you, I just don't feel like tearing this down. And if I did, I would move this stuff over into this area, put housing here so they'd be close to the mines. But for the longest time, these mines weren't running. Now, if you notice, I'm into deep mines now. I have this one running silver, and what I'm going to do is soon as this coal runs out, because as you can see, these are senior mines. This is my deep mine. I'm running silver here, so when this coal one runs out, I'm going to go ahead and rebuild this into a deep mine. I'll flip the silver over to coal, and then, when this one's built, hopefully this will have run out. If it had run out, then I'll flip this to iron, and then when I rebuild this one, I'll flip it to silver. So, food for thought. And yeah, the next production I start doing is just keep my people employed. I'm going to make coins first, and I'll probably make some silver cutlery as well, just so I can prep up for villas. But right now, I don't think I'm going to get villas. So maybe they're going to give us access to the ferry further into this scenario. I don't know. I've never seen this scenario before, and I have never. I don't know what it's like. I don't know what technology is going to be given to us that we can't build. So that I don't know. So right now I have to play it to where what's going to be my biggest bang for my buck. And if I make coins right now, use all my silver, well, I'd say 80% of my silver for coins and say a little bit for the silver cutlery. So in case if villas, I can do them. Now, I know you're saying, Larry, you have villas in your building capability. Well, of course, villas, they take, let me just plop one down. I can do the luxury furniture. That's not a problem. I can do the silver cutlery. Not a problem. I cannot do the luxury bedding because I don't have silk. I don't have wool. I don't have feathers. So, yeah. Now, if you notice, when it comes to basically the food production, what's missing on here? I mean, everybody's just like, okay, we know you can't do forest farms, but you also can't do orchards or groves. So, unless I can get access to orchards and groves and the mulberry seed, it's all irrelevant. So now I'm kind of, I'm still building to be able to put in villas. I just don't think it's going to happen. And if it does wind up happening, then I'll slowly start rebuilding these and just have all this basically start to scooch back and try to consolidate. But yeah, it's food for thought. It's, if you're going to do the scenario, that's something you really need to concentrate on. So another good thing is I didn't go crazy on my quarries, and I'm not hurting for stone. Here we have the senior quarry, and right here I have the deep quarry. So once this senior quarry, as you can see, it's fresh and new. I'll change this to a deep quarry, and I honestly think that's going to be more than plenty to make jade and cut stone. Now my cut stone, I think I set it for 3,000 right before I started videoing, and I have a little over 1,000. And housing, again, try to keep it close to your production. Now, if you notice, I did put housing close to this mine, so that was no big deal. And what I've done is I'm not using lumber whatsoever, other than making my tools. Lumber's not being used on the map anymore. So I'm going to be able to bank my lumber. So even though my number low is low right now, it's going to dip because I started making steel tools. Because now that I have so many people, I'm going through tools kind of quickly, but not that bad. I've been able to keep it at 1,000 without a problem. But I went ahead and just converted a lot of the production over to steel tools. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep iron tools at 500 because they're a bonus. I have not amped up these fields yet, and I don't think I need to. I put in, I do believe, way more mills than I need, but I don't know if I'm going to continue on my candy production as far as adding more candy, because it's a population issue to me right now. If this drops into the red, I wouldn't care. I'd be like, thank you. I would not mind if this went up. wouldn't mind whatsoever, because I need to slow the breeding down. Now, another huge thing, I had Student City over here. It works, but the big problem is that I didn't do over here is I didn't put in clothing and I didn't put in food production. If I would have kept them down here from pathing to get stuff, they wouldn't have turned into career students. And that's the one thing you want to avoid are career students. Career students are going to kill you because all they're doing is they're basically draining your resources going to school. What good's a 29-year-old student? It does not do you any good whatsoever. They're just a leech on your society. So having the boarding schools, is it great to improve your breeding? Absolutely. But they churn out students basically super fast. And like right here, this is a 16-year-old at 92%. So this person's going to probably graduate anytime. So these are a godsend and a curse at the same time. Yeah, it improves your breeding, which could be great, but when everybody's too happy, you get too many babies. So make sure you build absolutely consolidated. Now, I will more than likely have to get rid of this. But right now, I'm just trying to boost my lumber production because on the next episode, because as you can see, I have the map paused. Nothing's going on right now. Next episode, we start going full bore on getting these things done. And yeah, I have, let me show you here. Where are they? They start to blend in. I have 64 workers. I'm probably going to add more because I don't think these ones over here are full, which they're not, which I need to fix real quick. So let's see how many we are going to wind up with. Okay, we are going to wind up with 73. That means, oh, you know what I should have done? I should have just went over here. Is it this tab? Is it town overview? Oh, right here. This would have been a whole lot faster. So we go over to, where are they? Blacksmiths. Am I missing them? I have to be overlooking them. I probably overlooked them. Yeah, see, these are maxed. These are maxed, which is what I want. Our stone cutters, lights. And where I'm just not seeing them. Why am I not seeing them? Oh, builder, very first one, duh. So, for some reason, one of my... Okay. I thought I could adjust it here. Will it let me do that? So, does that work? Oh, well. So I'll have 75 workers. 75 constructions. So that should give plenty of people to work here, plenty of people to go over here, and life should be good. and I should have plenty of surplus of construction people to get everything going the way I need it. Now, some of this stuff is going to go away as I build this stuff. Reservoir, I might put in another one. This fishing dock will probably go away. There's more sand pits. I have more room for reeds, so I can really amp up my reed production if I want to. I don't know if I'm going to. I added, which was funny. Nothing would go here, but the salt would. And I just like, really? That was just, it drove me nuts. And I don't even have this fishing dock started. So I might as well. I have the people. Right now, I can burn people, go through jobs without any problems. Because this number is going to keep skyrocketing. So I just wanted to give you some tips and tricks on how to get through this scenario. And I know you're probably laughing. It's like, Larry, you haven't finished the scenario. What do you could be totally wrong. Well, I can tell you right now with my numbers and all that, I'm going in the absolute right direction. And if this absolutely turns red and things I start to lose population, I'd be okay with population loss right now. I would actually be quite happy with it, because then that's a lot more food production that I'm not going to have to build. But unfortunately, that is the path I'm on right now. So in the next episode, we're going to go ahead and get these statues built. We're going to start our production for refined leather, and we are going to start minting. And hopefully we're going to have to keep on building more houses. We're probably going to have to expand our animals some more. So I'm thinking I'm not going to worry about the turkeys. But we're going to have to expand our leather production, and our alpaca production. So that's where we're going. Hopefully you'll find all the tips that I've given you if you decide that you want to do this scenario. But the great thing is, all the tips that I've given you, you can apply to your regular maps. So yeah, after doing this scenario, I can tell you right now, I'm going to be going back to my original series, because that is turning out to be a beautiful build. And so I'm going to be starting that one back up again. And then I'm going to be doing another extreme series, an extreme series like you've never seen before. And when I mean extreme, it is the absolute hardest way you can play settlement survival. So yeah, it's going to be one of those series to where it can, you're going to love it. But I'll be running both of those series simultaneously. And I want to get to know people that are watching me. So I am probably going to start up a live series so I can sit there and chat with viewers and followers. Especially I want to get to know the followers, because you have faith enough in me to follow me. It'd be kind of cool to be able to chat with you live. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and end it here, and I will be making several more episodes today. So have a great day. So you better, and I will I will talk to you in the next episode. Bye.